When countries closed down schools early last year to deal with the pandemic, learning went digital overnight. And since then, teachers and students have done a collective crash course on digital education. I know there have been many downsides to that, from screen fatigue and adaptation stress to the falling behind of all those who were ill-equipped for digital learning or just, unprepared to learn on their own. But the experience has catapulted school systems years ahead. And they are traditionally laggards when it comes to innovation. But remote classrooms are not the same as smart ones. Much of what we did in the pandemic was a kind of stopgap measure that kept learning going and conserved existing educational practice, but didn't really transform it. Now is the time for schools to dive into digital. And our Digital Education Outlook helps us to radically reimagine what teaching and learning can be when powered intelligently by technology. Think about artificial intelligence in education. While you study mathematics on a computer, the computer can now study how you study and then make your learning experience so much more granular, so much more adaptive, so much more interactive. Together with sensors and learning management systems, AI can give teachers a real sense of how different students learn differently. Where students get interested and where they get bored, where they advance and where they get stuck. And as the Outlook shows, technology can then help adapt learning to very different student needs and give learners so much greater ownership over what they learn, how they learn, where they learn, and also when they learn. Technology can also help teachers, especially novice ones, to read the classroom so much better and slow down, speed up, and, pose a question when there's a lull. Learning analytics can tell a teacher working out the next day's lesson plans, who aced the homework and who needs some more help to review it. And of course, AI is helping assessment and exams make big leaps as well. Whether you talk about assessments through simulations, hands-on assessments in vocational settings, or machine learning algorithms scoring essays. One of the most consequential mistakes that education made as it industrialized learning over past centuries was to divorce learning from assessment. We have students pile up lots of learning and then, some years later we test whether they can reproduce some narrow slices of that learning in a very constrained and contrived environment. Well, technology can now reintegrate learning and assessment using real-time data and feedback to help students learn better, teachers teach better, and education systems to become so much more effective. And the Digital Education Outlook doesn't stop with how we can transform learning in the classroom. It also shows how learning and technology can transform the entire organization of schools and of school systems. But humans have always been better at inventing new tools than using them wisely. The Digital Education Outlook shows that technology and AI are not magic powers. They're just extraordinary amplifiers and accelerators that add speed and accuracy to what humans do. In fact, they amplify good educational ideas and good practice in exactly the same way they amplify bad ideas and bad practice. That's why it's so important that public policy encourages developers to co-create with teachers and students tools that are more meaningful, more relevant, better interoperable, and also easier to use. Technology is unlikely to work for learning unless the teaching profession is part of the design of those tools. And it's only by investing in teachers that technology can liberate them from routine administrative and instructional tasks and provides them with the opportunity and the support to become great coaches, great mentors, great role models, great inspirers, and great educational leaders. Education will always work best when humans are kept in the loop, not left to their devices.